All right. Good afternoon. To start, really starts with just how proud I am of our guys and our staff. With everything that we've been going through, to go on the road and find a way to win, to play as connected as we played, to play with the effort and the energy and the relentlessness that I think our football team played with on Saturday night. Just a tribute to them and their work and their commitment to each other. I think our staff has done a really good job of kind of continuing to really motivate and pour into these young men. But it really all goes back to them and the way they're playing and the way they're working and what they brought to the table each and every week. And so I want to thank them to start with. That being said, we got 24 hours around here, and then we got to move on. We got another tough opponent this week with Wake coming to town. Very talented on both sides of the ball in all three phases. We know we've got our hands full, but it'll be nice to be back in Lane Stadium. Those fans that traveled down to NC State with us, appreciate them very much and the energy that they brought before and after the game. But being at home is special, and we've got a chance to be back here on homecoming week with Orange Effect and all the things that are going on. Just wanting to stay locked into what we've got to do, what we've got to take care of on the field, knowing that we got a really talented team coming into our house. So it's got to have another great week of work, get prepared, get locked in, and let's go out and have a good time on Saturday.
All right, we'll start in the back with Brooke.
Coach, obviously, that budget got approved this morning. That's the story of the day.
Okay.
I'm sure you knew. You've been a head coach. What impact does that amount of money have on an athletic department and specifically a Virginia Tech football team?
Well, I think more importantly, the vision that the Board of Visitors has for the future of Virginia Tech athletics and football and all of that encompasses that. Just a tremendous growth potential of what can happen. It can open a lot of doors for the athletic department, and we thank them for that. Obviously, I'm going to let Whit and all of them handle the big questions on that part of it, but I think it shows the vision, and I think it shows the passion, and I think it allows Virginia Tech to continue to keep building and being at the top of this conference where it belongs.
Dan?
When we talked to Kyron after the game, he sounded like he very much wanted to go for that 4th and 1. He said, I'm going to have a talk with Coach about that the next day. Did you indeed have that meeting with him? What was that like? Did he try to persuade you after the fact?
I mean, that's what you love. I would want him to want to go for it. I'd want our offensive line to go for it. I'd want all of that part of it. And there's going to be opportunities throughout the season for us to have that. We went for one on the minus 40 something in the course of the game. We talked about it. At the end of it, it was, we got to make the right decision at the right time. I felt like, in that particular moment with all the other variables, I thought it was the right decision. We trusted our defense. We trusted all three phases, and it was a 3-phase win for us. So obviously it worked out well. But every one of those situations is going to be unique, and we'll take them, each one of them in the way we need to.
You haven't suited up Caleb Woodson or Quentin Reddish the last 2 weeks. I know Caleb was on the sideline of that game. What is their situation right now? Is it an injury situation? Are they working through something else? Do you expect them this week at all? Yeah,
they haven't been available the last several weeks. I'm not going to talk about injuries and all of that part of it, but they're dealing with some injury things, and hopefully we'll get those guys back soon. Looking forward to that. We'll see how they react and how we continue to monitor their availability.
Damon?
Phil, you've been in a lot of one-sport games during your time as a head coach. Did any of that past experience lead you to saying, okay, I know how well my defense has been playing. NC State has had to earn their scoring drives to know, okay, instead of going for it and putting them in a position where a first down gets them field goal range, make them earn it?
I think more than anything, I think that was probably the deciding factor for myself and our coaching staff as we looked at it. And everybody's got their own feelings towards it. But, if you get the first down in that particular moment, then the ball game's over because you've made them burn their timeouts and you can finish it offensively. And that's always a strong suit for us. That being said, if you don't get it, they're already in field goal range. And that was the deciding factor for me. Our defense had been playing well all night. They've been relentless. They don't have any timeouts left. Nick's going to do a fantastic job. We're going to cover the punt well. We're going to pin them back and then make them earn the rest of it. So, luckily it all worked out in the right way. But those variables change each and every time you have to make that decision. But that was part of the process of thinking through it.
And one more question about the roster. 2 defensive linemen, Keyshawn Burgos, James Junko, no longer listed on the roster. Are you able to provide any insight onto that decision?
Yeah, they're just they're not with our football team anymore, and that is part of this process that we've been going through, and so our focus is going to stay with the guys that are on our roster and what's in our locker room, and those guys continuing to grow and really weld together and continue to focus on what we've got to, which is a weight game right here in front of us.
David.
Caleb Spencer made some really big plays for you guys
Yeah.
throughout the game. He had that stop on that 4th down. What have you seen in his growth and development? And obviously he's kind of forced into this role with some of the injuries and departures. What kind of growth have you seen from him?
Yeah, I think he is leaps and bounds growing throughout the weeks. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. You see him, the way he's pulling the trigger and firing on things that he sees now, the way he's running around through the football, his athleticism, his strength. And I think he is not only learning each and every day in the meeting room and in practice, but he's also doing that on the field. Like I'm seeing something, I'm remembering those things and how I need to react. He's taking coaching really well, but the top part of that is he's got a great athletic presence about him. He plays with all those things that the good Lord gave him, and he's playing with a lot of passion right now. I'm glad we got him.
What stands out to you about this Wake Forest offense you guys are going to see on Saturday?
Obviously, as you look at them, they're very talented, right? Obviously, I've had time with Robbie, spent a year and plus with him, so I know Robbie pretty well and how athletic he is, how competitive he is. He's doing a great job there. Claiborne, the running back, obviously from this area, but very, very talented. They've done a great job with him as well. One of the things that really stood out to me, their receivers, they got 3 or 4 guys that can really run. And so that's something that always perks you up a little bit. You got to make sure you know where those guys are, try to eliminate some of those explosive plays they've been able to have. So we've got to do a good job in that way. I think their offensive line has played really well, especially their tackles. I think both of those guys are tremendous players. So it's going to be a great test for us. Obviously, they took Georgia Tech all the way to the wire in overtime, and so that was a tremendous game. So, we're going to have our hands full for sure.
Let's go Andy and then Ryan.
You had a bunch of those freshmen that played last week. You have 4 games to kind of play around with a redshirt on that. Are you worried about the redshirt still? Do you go, hey, we're going forward, we're going to actually play those guys the rest of the season here?
Yeah, right now, we're taking it week by week, but that being said, we got some really talented freshmen, and they stepped up. I think there was at one point in the game the other night, we had 4 of those guys on the field at one time together. So we got a lot of faith in them. They're continuing to grow. They're continuing to get better. They've got some inexperience about them, but they're playing with a lot of passion, and they're learning a lot throughout the week. And so we're going to keep rolling the way we're rolling, and those guys are being a tremendous help, and they're only going to get better.
Ryan and David.
A lot of different O-line combinations to start the season. This one only allowed 2 sacks, a great rushing performance. After watching the film, what allowed that specific combination to really click this week?
We're just trying to make sure that we can put our 5 best linemen on the field at one time, at one given time, right? And so it was good that Johnny was able to come back, and I think that was a good boost for us, moving around Tomas and the flexibility of what he brings to the table, being able to play right tackle, left tackle, playing left guard. I think that added a little bit of juice to it. Right now, we'll step back out on the practice field today, and kind of see where we're at through some of the injuries and kind of start playing ourselves through it. But I thought those guys played tremendously well, and I think Aiden is continuing to grow each and every week and getting better. So we'll see how it plays it out this week.
And then you faced some mobile quarterbacks earlier in the season, facing another one this Saturday in Robbie Ashford. What did you maybe learn earlier in the season facing South Carolina and Vanderbilt that you could apply to helping slow down another mobile quarterback?
Yeah, all of those guys are a little bit different in how they attack you. And with Robbie, he's got such a burst about him. He can go from standing still to being 100 miles an hour pretty quick. And so you got to do a good job of not only getting them off their points, but then containing them when you do get them off their points, because that's where they can really hurt you. Extending plays, not having enough eyes to it, making sure that you can get around it and get it tackled and get it on the ground. And so I thought our guys, again, the effort that we played with the other night is what we've got to bring each and every week, and the relentlessness of our guys' pursuit was a big factor in getting stops the other night, and we got to continue to do that.
David.
Phil, you played Christian Evans, defensive tackle against Wofford, and he's changed numbers, I believe, repped with the offensive line before the NC State game. Do you envision moving him to the offensive line, or is there still the availability to play him on either side?
Yeah, right now, we're trying to make the right moves for the entirety of the team, and with some of the injuries that we've had up front, he's a guy that has played it in high school. He brings a great skill set from that standpoint. I think he can have a tremendous career as an offensive lineman. We'll see how that plays itself out throughout the course of this season and in the years to come. But, it was something we talked to him about, asked him if he'd be willing to at least try it. And obviously he's trying to do what's best for our football team and for himself. But he made that adjustment a little bit last week. We got some looks to get him in there and get an opportunity to kind of get his feet wet, and we'll see how it goes from there.
You mentioned Wake Forest. They haven't played a game away from home through the first month of the season. The fact that they're going to be coming into a hostile environment Saturday, you hope that helps in getting off to a fast start against a Wake Forest team that is I believe, plus 40 in first half scoring this year.
Yeah, obviously our fans are tremendous, and we're going to need their support and their passion. Being a homecoming week, I know there's going to be a lot of folks there. But that being said, yes, we need our fans to make it tough on them. We need the energy from them as well for ourselves. But on the flip side of that, this is their first road game. We've been on the road in a couple of different types of environment. It is a little bit different. Your schedule changes, all of that part of it. But for us, by the time you line it up, it's time to play. We still got to go out and physically take a win and go make that happen. And that will be our mindset and our focus as we get into it.
All right, we'll go back to the room, Brooke, and then Andy, and then we'll take a couple on Zoom.
Coach, it was clear, the energy was different on Saturday. Is that something you noticed? Whether it was just playing or in the locker room, the video of you dancing, it was just different. What do you think that changes? Is it mindset? Is it just leadership in the locker room? What can you pinpoint? Because obviously it had results.
I think the guys have done a tremendous job of just rallying around each other. We're all in this together, and wins are hard to come by. So you're talking about the other part of that. You need to be able to feel that joy that you get. They put in so much work and so much time, and they're grinding all the time. And so when you get an opportunity to have a win like that, you got to celebrate it. And it's got to be something you're continuing wanting to do. And so we're going to celebrate wins. And we did a little bit of that. Now our 24 hours is up, and now it's time to refocus and get back locked in. But, I think the energy really comes from them. And, they make you feel that joy because you can see it on their faces. You can see it coming out of them. And it's a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to grow.
Andy.
When we talked to Fontel in the preseason, he was talking about Cam Selden just sort of being maybe a developmental receiver. He was new to the position, switching from running back. What have you seen out of him these first couple of weeks? Do you feel like he's continuing to expand his role and his comfort in that slot spot?
Yeah, I really think he has. I mean, if you look at his production over the last couple of weeks, you can see how he is really coming on. He's really understanding the position more. He's playing a lot faster. He made some big catches the other night, had a big one across the middle, had a couple of them on some third down opportunities in there. So, obviously Kyron is trusting him because he's throwing the football to him in those opportunities, and Cam just keeps getting better. We got to continue to keep finding unique ways and opportunities to get him involved, and we'll continue to do that throughout the season. But Cam has been great. His practice habits have been really outstanding over the last several weeks. He's back healthy. He's feeling good. And so I think he will continue in that mode as we work through the rest of the season.
Let's take a couple on Zoom.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions for Coach Montgomery. And we'll start with David, please.
Coach, talking to Christian Ellis post-game and then watching a little bit on DVR, it seemed like he almost knew what was coming on the 4th and 1 throw there late to Joe Lee. Is that a matter of scouting and then film study on the young man's part?
Yeah, I think it's really both of them. I thought our defensive staff really put those guys in an opportunity to go make that play, kind of talked about some of the different scenarios that could potentially happen right there. And I think a lot of it goes back to film study and the flow of the game and what's going on. And so he made a tremendous play right there. As a young guy kind of stepping in there and getting those things done, just what a play by him, what an opportunity. He had a couple of those throughout the game. And I love watching his growth and what he's bringing to the table and how he's playing along with a lot of other guys in that situation. But what a play right there.
And you mentioned he made a couple plays. What about the one in the end zone to break up that pass? How would you describe that for Coach?
Yeah, again, in-man coverage right there against a really talented receiver. The receiver's got a step, but he is staying engaged with it. And then, the opportunity to shoot the hand late, break up the pass. Just a tremendous effort by him. Great technique, great athleticism. But when you're in those situations and just making plays like that, just the confidence that it brings to not only him but to the defense in general. And so, again, he had a couple of them like that throughout the game. And those two that you mentioned are really, really big.
And one last one, if you indulge it. Just at this point, with all the outside drama around the program, is the actual football part now, practice and especially the games, an escape, catharsis for not only the players but also the staff?
Well, I can promise you it's the best part of my day, right? So getting out on the practice field and getting to be around them and feel their energy and the way that we're practicing, and I look forward to it each and every day. Those guys have been tremendous. Our meetings have been really well. They've done a great job within the meetings and taking information and gathering that and then taking it to the field and really applying it. But it's all about energy and focus and the relentless pursuit of us getting better. And I promise you that's the best part of my day.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go to Steve next.
Coach, can you just talk about a little bit of how Kyron's approach has changed much since compared to the end of the OU game, compared over the next two games since then, and also your relationship with him, how did that change when you had to pick on the other duties? Is it kind of the same, or did you have to make some adjustments?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't think his approach has changed in either one of those facets. He is competitive. He wants to be good. He wants the people around him to be good. He works relentlessly to continue to improve his skill set. There's always things we can get better at. There's always things I can get better at. So, again, we're all in this thing together, and I think he has done a good job of coming in every day. He's in here watching tape. He's in here getting work done. He's taking care of his body. We step out on the practice field. These are the things that we're trying to work on today, and he is actively working on those. So the thing about him is he wants to be great, and he's going to work at that level to continue to do that. We're always going to strive for the perfect game. We're never going to play the perfect game. But he stepped up in many, many opportunities throughout the course of this season, but especially the other night, and made big plays for us. And guys around him have stepped up and made big plays. So we got to continue to do that, lean on each other, and it's not a one-man show. It's about all of us, all three phases, every guy that steps on that field going out and getting it done.
Was there any change confidence-wise that you've seen in him, or was it, or has his confidence remained the same even when during those first 3 games?
No, I think Kyron's confident in his play, and he's confident in himself, and he's confident in the guys around him, and that's what you got to have. And probably the latter of that is probably the most important piece of that. Just being confident in the guys around you, us continuing to grow as an offense. We played some really, really tough people. You know you've been in big games. You know you played some tough defenses. As you continue to go throughout this season, we're going to continue to face those. We faced another tough one there in NC State. We're going to face another really tough one here in Wake's defense. So we know we got our hands full, and for us, we got to focus on what we do, how we do it, and continuing to get better each and every week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any final questions on Zoom? Hey, Travis.
Thanks, Coach Montgomery.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great week.
Thank you. You too.